All right. We are live.
All right.
Anybody watching on YouTube, if you can quickly let us know that you can hear not just me, but the others. So if someone else can say something.
Of course we can.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Talking
Absolutely.
about
And we are live.
speciality.
Yeah. Ooh. Back to the household.
Mhm.
And as always at the start of these sessions, we're gonna let it sit for a couple of minutes before we actually launch into it, just to let people who are subscribed to the channel or have hit the notify me button get some time to join before we kick off.
Sure.
Cool. Then I can go grab my drink. So
Ba, 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 ba.
Matt,
No
I'm
one's-
preparing a little something, and I sent it to you in the general chat in a jiffy.
General chat?
So
General chat.
general chat. As long as it's not a major problem, so we should be fine.
I just have to check which of my 12 open windows I need to look in. This is where, GMing in
should've
person
known
is so much easier.
Oh, yeah.
Not just GMing online, but GMing online and then also streaming is just, it's a lot of plates spinning in the air. Oh wow.
Oh God.
So I didn't manage to finish Gwen, but yeah.
Can I share that?
Yeah, sure. It's for the stream.
All right.
So-
All right. Let me
When it comes to that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta
Rusty sewer boy.
resize it and everything to make sure it doesn't go absolutely massive. Oh, there's a nice little bit of art coming, everyone.
Yeah.
Looking forward to showing this off.
fantastic.
So if you got anybody who's joined in the last minute or two, if you can just let us know if you can hear not just myself but the others as well, that'd be great. Let us know in the chat. We have had some problems in previous episodes.
Not true.
I can't see any comments about that yet, but I'm guessing that's not a lot of people watching.
Aha, there's a Mark.
Yeah.
Mark.
Mark,
Mark.
Mark!
can you hear everyone?
Good to have you here.
Huzzah.
Mark, kannst du uns hören?
There might be a little bit of a lag.
Ah, yeah, sure.
Well, there is definitely a lag, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. All right. Cool.
Fabulous. Super.
Excellent.
Good
Mhm.
God. My whole box of dice just unloaded on my table.
Oops.
My last session of DMing, I had so much books on my table, I just pushed my whole dice tray over and I just scattered all over the floor. And
Yeah.
so my players got to see me running around collecting.
So it was online, your group, Rasmus?
No, oh yeah, well it's not publicly, but online with friends. Yes.
Yes. So they had nothing else to do but watch you collecting your dice.
Oh, and they could play. We were two DMs actually, so it was kind of fun.
Mm. Oh yeah.
Alrighty. So I think if I add this in, it shouldn't show up, but we'll just have a quick little test.
Very curious.
Oh, is it showing on? It's not showing on the YouTube feed though, is it?
Oh,
No,
not yet,
not yet.
but it's a
No,
little
no,
of a
not yet.
lag.
You're seeing it on our individual feed because you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing.
Mhm.
It shouldn't
Oh, yeah.
be showing on the other
God.
thing.
The nasty sewer boy mask.
The nasty sewer boy mask.
Wow.
Rose
Nasty
child.
sewer boy. Gross child.
Alrighty. So, Okay, that's working. Okay, all right.
So the chat, we are laughing about something you're not seeing
You'll
yet.
see.
So
You'll see later. You'll see later.
You'll see later.
Yeah. Promise.
Just having secrets.
Okay. So, does anybody want to give a little quick recap from last session, rather than me doing all the recapping and the intros and everything else?
Okay, sure. So we prepared to head for the Eula Tree Forest because Gwen finally deciphered the combined pages of Argo's journal to a location where she suspects to be Argo the bureaucrat's final resting place. Argo is like a legendary figure in the household, like a scholar who whose specialty lies in the exploration of contracts and how they work. And Gwen it's basically Gwen's major theme. She studies major field of study, and she is very ardent to find his grave and anything that hints to his scientific exploits. So we're heading out to the Eula Tree Forest, and she contracted us, like not through a contract, but we join her for money and support, and maybe to get rid of a contract into the wilderness at the Eula Tree and at the cracked windows. So before we headed out, Letha got a little visit from extended family, so to say. Like, what was her name again, Carmen? Will you
That
want
was
to take
Cynthia.
over?
Yep.
That was Cynthia, the wife of my brother. And she was mean.
She was a little passive aggressive, yeah. Maybe not even so passive.
Yeah. I hope you fall into a deep hole, Humphrey.
Yeah.
Things escalated kind of when Humphrey joined in the inn to get Letha to join the rest of the party, and now rumors are circulating at Letha's and Humphrey's hometown, I suppose. And then we headed out and entered Eula Tree Forest. We had a little preparations done concerning equipment, like masks, especially when we enter the dreaded redwood, a dark part of the Eula Tree Forest where there's some kind of special rusty mold or something like that gives all sorts of ailments, like making breathing heavy or giving visions, and nasty time.
I definitely did not invent a special disease that you might contract if you breathe the spores in there, by the way. No.
Beautiful. Also, we took Snotty with us. Oh, we have the whole Snotty content. So quick update for everyone. Snotty hates Humphrey now for some reason. Snotty bit me. Snotty likes Letha for some reason. Maybe Snotty likes us to be snotted at, I don't know. And Snotty is kind of indifferent to Santiago and Gwen for now. We'll see if that stays like that. And also, Snotty got a mask with red polka dots to protect her from the spores in the Dreadwood. But for now, we are still in the lighter regions of the Eula Tree Forest and the Pinewood, it's called, right?
Yeah. I mean, the whole forest is called the Pinewood, and it's just that the different parts of it are like the Dreadwood is a specific part of it. Yeah.
So the first night we had a campfire scene. We had a very emotional heart-to-heart talk between Letha and Humphrey, where we explored the common past of the two characters, and had some good drama. I won't spoil too much. If you didn't see it, watch it again, because it was great. And afterwards, we had a little ambush by a not so small band of cockroaches, to be fair.
A never-ending stream of cockroaches.
Kind of a slaughterfest. And with the last cockroach turned on its back, and Letha just putting down the heavy key sketch she got from Humphrey for the moment, we finished the session, if I'm...
Yeah. That's right. Yep. We wanted to. Yeah. We were kind of. I think we're running over slightly, and we're still more cockroaches coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as soon as they were
We
dead,
went into
we kind of
cockroach
finished it.
overtime. Yeah.
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 One thing to mention to people who are maybe trying to learn a bit about how this game works as well, just to let you know, I actually made that combat inadvertently harder than it should have been. There's a mechanic with the enemies that basically adversaries that basically gives them a descriptor for how difficult they are. And it's basically something like critical or extreme or basic. So the type of success required. And there's a special talent called double trouble and also triple threat or something like that, which basically means that instead of there being one critical, instead of it being like a single critical that's required to overcome them, it's then 2 or 3, whether it's double or triple. And those cockroaches had a double trouble talent, so I was like making every roll against them requiring 2 basic successes. And I just had to look at the talent again after we finished, because like, man, that was, they're meant to be like one of the easier ones that really dragged on a little bit. And I realized that it's only during the reaction phase when that comes into play and not during the action phase. So that means when all of you were attacking them, you were making your action rolls. It should have just been a single basic success that you needed rather than 2. And then when you were doing the reaction rolls when they were attacking you, then that's when the two basics were required. So just to clarify that a little bit. Not that I really explained the talents or anything to people watching or listening, but I was explaining how many successes were needed. So yeah. Anyway, all that to say, you probably would have mown through those cockroaches a little bit faster than you had done. Nobody really got any serious like injuries. No one got any conditions out of that, if I remember correctly. And any of the stress that you would have taken will have cleared as you sleep the rest of the night.
Okay.
So we're going to be starting this session, and technically this isn't in it. Again, we're in this is what I'm calling chapter 2.4. This is still part of chapter 2.2. So we're now 3 sessions into what should have been 1 session, and I don't think we're going to finish it by the end of this one.
Nope.
So I'm not going to be I haven't re-rolled for your terrible things. We're basically just picking up directly after the last one ended and just kind of treating it as one long kind of scenario, if you will. Okay, so that's enough about the mechanical side of things. I just wanted to mention that very briefly. So, as I said, after the cockroach attack, you kind of would have done a perimeter just to make sure that there weren't any other ones lurking around that might be jumping out at you when you're, retiring again for the night. Just to make sure that there's no more threats around. And then basically everyone would have tried to sleep again. There were no more threats, so we'll just assume that you kept the order of keeping watch that you had set up. I can't remember what it was exactly when we played last session, but whatever we'd set up, that's what you stuck to. No more issues for the rest of the night. And as you wake up in the morning, I did mention that you're just getting into the edges of where the pine wood starts to get thicker as well, if you remember. Up to this point, it was relatively easy to kind of traverse the terrain. The woods weren't the forest wasn't too thick. If you kind of wanted to look around, you could still see quite a ways through the kind of the needles of the branches. But now you set up camp just kind of on the outskirts of where it really starts to get thick. So if you can imagine that like a Christmas tree had toppled over, you're kind of passing through the top bit there, and now you're starting to get into the bigger section where all the branches are. So there's a couple of things I want to do here. We talked before about how we wanted to handle this in terms of the group. And Humphrey is the one who's going to be kind of scouting ahead and just keeping an eye out for traps, or I shouldn't say traps, sorry, but like making sure that you can find a good trail or finding the easiest trails. While Letha is a hunter as well and a guide, she's probably not going to have too many issues traversing through this. But Santiago hasn't probably really ever traipsed through a forest like this before, and Gwen certainly hasn't. So you're trying to
kind of going to be further and further out of the comfort zone and trying to not show it and being kind of comical, I'm guessing.
Yeah. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. So the idea is that Humphrey is basically keeping an eye out for threats, finding a safe path through the forest as you're heading deeper into it. Yeah.
We could even say that Humphrey's mainly out for looking for threats and other obstacles ahead, while Letha, as an experienced guide, is looking for the
Path.
way where the whole group can traverse. Because Humphrey is edgy action hero jumping over the branches, and those are not passages suitable for a mouse or for Gwen probably. So
Okay. Yeah.
So Carmen also can do some roles with her character, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, I've got this all kind of ready for that as well. So we're gonna make a roll for Humphrey, and we're gonna be looking at your kind of. In fact, I think I need to change the skill you're rolling on. Let me just double check very quickly. I've written down exploration plus street. But yeah, exploration is more. I think what we're gonna have Letha be rolling, because that's about finding your bearings in the wild, traveling through wild lands,
like caution,
locating food, etc. But caution is more about staying vigilant, avoiding traps, dangers, or enemies. So it's definitely going to be caution street for Humphrey. And if I just show this very quickly on the screen here, then people can also see.
Yeah, so I have cleared. I can clear my stress, right? Because we slept.
Yeah, stress. Everyone's stress can be cleared. Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
So caution, yeah, you've got. It's like one of your best skills. So 4 and 2. So you're really sitting on a lot there. And if we look at your traits very quickly, so sharpshooter's not going to apply, beastmaster won't apply, but yeah. The tired, I think we could probably clear that, because I think technically tired gets cleared. Well, technically tired gets cleared when you sleep. But we do have this as a result of the terrible things. So no, not from you. No,
not from me. But I said I take it voluntarily, since
you
Humphrey
didn't take
and Gwen
it.
had a very long conversation, and
during
during
watch.
Humphrey's shift, during her watch, and then Humphrey had the second watch, and also Snotty left something behind on my bedroll, which made the rest of the night that Humphrey did not have watch sort of uncomfortable. Or maybe Humphrey would have just curled together next to the fire, not into his bedroll, which wouldn't make for the best night's sleep. So yeah, Humphrey's a little bit tired. But do I get a minus die or something like that?
No, we don't really take away dice unless it's something very, very specific. It's basically the difficulty goes up. How many successes you need is sorry, the minuses do come into play with some conditions, but as you can see there for tired, it says no consequences. So that one doesn't actually detract from anything.
Okay.
But it does count towards the maximum number of conditions you can have before you are broken.
Oh yeah, there's a thing, right?
Which I think is you have if you have 3 conditions ticked, any 3, the 4th one you take is basically broken. So the tired will count towards that kind of limit, even though it's not actually giving you any penalties to your rolls at the moment.
Okay, good. Then I'm rolling. So I got 6 dice. And all right. Oh, this is a critical, a triple, and two criticals. 3
with
threes
6
and
dice,
3
so there's no
fours.
free, not even any free dice.
No.
Okay.
No.
Wow,
2 criticals.
That's good.
Yeah.
So it's not the best the best roll you could roll was 6 dice, because the best would be 6 of a kind.
Sure.
That would be a bit ridiculous. But it's certainly very, very, very good. So you are your spidey senses are tingling, if you will, as you're kind of out scouting around and ahead of the party. Are you kind of doubling back behind, or are you mostly just kind of like doing an arc in front of the group?
Yeah, I would do like circles or half, like a cone, right? I would
forward.
Travel around like a cone. Yeah, forward.
Yeah.
Like what's
yeah.
I don't expect any pursuers right now, so mainly what lies ahead of us. Any trails we may cross and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I assumed. Okay. And let's get a roll for Letha's pathfinding skills, which are, again, as I said before, is going to be exploration plus street.
Yep.
Which is also fairly high from you.
Yeah, that's
And it's
true.
also your Pathfinder.
Turn.
Your Pathfinder trait comes into play, which is exactly what we're doing here. Gain +1 when looking for trails or trying to find your bearings in the wild. So you've also got 6 dice here.
That's a good one. So let's see how that goes. Ooh. That is 2 basics.
Okay. Do you want to risk that? I mean, it's kind of a good position because if you don't get anything better, you at least have 1 basic.
Yeah, I
But
try.
you can't re-roll the 2, but you have to keep the 2 basics as they are. You only get to re-roll the 2 additional ones, or the 2
Yep.
unassigned ones. Yeah.
Yep, but I'll try and see if I can change it into something better.
Can I? All right.
Which worked. I have a critical and
Okay.
a basic now.
Good. Okay, so with a critical, you're not really finding it too difficult at this stage to either find a kind of, think of it like animal tracks, that sort of thing, where there might have been some bigger, like maybe some rats or some other thing has passed through at a certain point and has basically just, bent the needles of the tree away and made some kind of a natural path. And when it starts winding away from where you want to go, then you're able to kind of like, almost like imagining like you're hacking your way with a machete through the Amazonian jungles or something, if you think like that. But you're kind of like, making a path. And with a critical and a basic, basically is what you would have rolled. Yeah, that's a very good roll. So, yeah, you're making good progress into the Pinewood. Gwen seems to be concentrating on her on like not falling over. Let's put it this way. She's really focused very much on following the path that Letha that you're setting, but she's definitely at the back of the group, and she's just trying to make sure that she's just concentrating like 200% on where she's like how she's moving. So usually she's a bit distracted, but if you feel like right now she's almost overly. Again, I don't want to use the term. She's just super concentrated on making sure that she doesn't trip or fall. So she's not talking to anyone. She's just really just keeping her head down, and what you think she almost feels like she's distracted, maybe, or yeah, maybe she's focusing on this so she doesn't have to think about anything else potentially. So what I want to ask is, what's Santiago doing while we're traveling? There's definitely an opportunity for you to talk to Letha, or to Gwen to kind of maybe, yeah, while this is all going, because Letha's concentration isn't like so much taken up like with Humphrey with like, am I seeing anything? Or I imagine Humphrey's like in the zone, really like focusing on things. Letha's is more like, okay, this looks like a good path. We'll follow this. So she can kind of multitask here without too many problems, especially with that crit plus a basic. Yeah.
I think Santiago is he feels like he's a little bit on guard duty, but he's also very easily distracted. So he will start talking, and if Letha's up for discussion, he try to talk to her. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, yeah. So, well, yeah. I've never been in this kind of thicket before. It's really interesting, and reminds me of this back alley fight I did back home in a while back. It was very, very fun and intriguing.
So
You seem to, yeah.
Tree branches remind you of a back alley?
Yeah, there was washcloths hanging and barrels and yeah.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. I've been here a few times, but not really deep into it. Watch out for spiders and other critters.
Oh, I can
They
trust.
literally hang around often.
I hear you. Well, last time you met a spider, it was no problem.
No, there was a small one actually.
Small? Yeah, well, small. I don't remember if that's small, right? Smallish, perhaps, but still kind of big and dangerous.
It can get larger. a lot.
Well, yeah.
So sometimes you see these ornaments hanging above us.
Oh yeah. The big
Sometimes
shiny
they
ones,
really
that's-
hide behind that, and then you just see their big fat bums sticking out.
Oh.
It's
And
yeah.
Santiago is checking where his pistol is and losing his lancetta in the scabbard and
You
trying to
also
be
see Letha slightly grinning, like she's a little bit fucking with you.
yeah. And Santiago is trusting
There's
her.
our
and
F-bomb.
No
There's
worries.
our F-bomb.
Oh no!
Oh no.
You stole it.
Oh damn it! Oh, no.
All good.
Well. But it's yeah, and he's still talking about this like as it's one of his adventures, and but he's not being proud and not showing that he's not afraid or not doing cautious, but he tends to daydream about how cool this is.
Can you give us some rough description of the adventure you're talking about? Like,
oh yeah, the one back in it was on my way back to the academy, and I had a couple of drinks, but I wasn't really drunk, and some ruffians wanted to steal my hat and clothes, and yeah, so in the middle of this shortcut back home, I usually take because there was a young Slua girl who tends to sit by a window, still I sometimes talk to. They try to ambush me, and it was a whirlwind of clothes and sheets on dry and lancetas glimmering in the night. And it was fantastic and bloody. I come home with 2 new scars that day, actually, that morning. Yes. And a couple of berserkers I didn't know I called away.
Okay, I never really fought that many people.
Oh.
I usually just sometimes we got bandits on the roads and I scare them off. Like fire a warning shot or something like that, because I'm not really intimidating, but I do my best.
I have seen you do stuff. Yeah, well, yeah. That's also a very good tactic. The thrill of the close combat. Parries,
I don't
riposts.
think it's for me.
No? Well, I can teach you a step or two if you want to.
If you want to get hurt,
You
you can try. I mean,
yeah, well, you can hurt me a bit. No worries. But yeah.
okay.
What was that? Oh yeah, that was Humphrey. Yeah. Getting a bit more and more nervous after the spider talk and stuff like that. And he looks over at Gwen sometimes and say, "Hey, Blushes, look out!"
Yeah, I'm gonna actually make a roll for her to see how well she's handling this terrain. So it's going to be an athletics test for her, and unfortunately, she does not have a very big dice pool for this sort of thing, as you could probably imagine. I'm just going to show her on the screen here. So Gwen has under athletics plus war, and war is definitely dominating your environment. So definitely the type of thing that you're rolling for here. And she only has 2 in athletics and 1 in war. But because of the good pathfinding that's going on, we're going to give her an extra bonus dice on this one. And I'm just going to see how well she does. She only needs a basic success. Oh, I rolled 3 ones.
Yay!
oh,
Critical.
that's very good.
So
Nice.
she's actually, I guess the concentrating is paying off. So much that when you mentioned Blushes, she doesn't even respond because she's just laser focused. She's critting this hiking business. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to roll the frat to see if she's like, how well she's handling it and how she responds to that. So she doesn't respond at all when you say that. So I don't know if you want to push it or you just don't want to interrupt her.
No, Santiago is happy just saying something. If he doesn't engage, he's not a He's not talking on people. He's talking. Sometimes he might when he gets excited. But...
Okay. Yeah. But you're more focused on the spiders, as you said. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But and he might get a bit more quiet after the spider comment as well. He's not talking boisterously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you continue on your way, and what I would also like is I would like Letha and Santiago to also make a caution test, and that's caution plus street.
Yep.
Okay, 4 dice.
Caution again being kind of like the passive perception, if you will, that sort of type of test.
Letha,
Your awareness.
Gonna push mine. Yeah. That is a critical.
What did Santiago get? Sorry.
No, I haven't rolled yet.
Okay. Yeah.
And nope, nothing at all. Oh,
Okay.
and there she was by the window panes. And what was that?
Letha, as he's talking, I mean, he doesn't notice anything. He definitely doesn't notice anything. You think you hear like something coming from behind you, like a branch snapping. But when you stop and kind of and properly look back there, you don't actually see anything, and you don't know what it was exactly. It could have been your imagination. It's always difficult when somebody makes a roll and there's the result of the roll is some some narration, and then it's like it might not have been anything. It might have been your imagination. So you gotta try and immerse yourself in this a little bit. Yeah, you don't see anything, and you wait for a few moments. Nothing else happens. You don't hear anything else. It seems like there's nothing behind you. Yeah.
We should pay some attention to our surroundings. Like,
Okay.
I heard something snap. I don't know if anything is following or if it was just, this.
Okay. I'll take the walk behind Gwen then, so nothing happens to her.
And just to interrupt very briefly, right as you're saying this, Gwen like walks into you as she's not even aware you stopped. Oh, are we there? Are we there?
No. We just taking a short break at brushes. So I walk around her and stand behind her looking backwards, and I can't see anything but pine cones.
Is it time for lunch already?
Oh, no, not really. I thought I heard something, so and I thought it was better to stop and pay attention, but it doesn't seem to be anything. We can move on.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of creatures in this forest beyond those cockroaches.
Absolutely. So better be careful.
Okay. Well, I'll stay in the middle then. That seems like a good idea. Yes. Yeah.
That's true. You can also you can lean on Snotty if you like want a bit of stability.
She kind of carefully approaches Snotty and kind of like pats her on the side, if on the side. How does Snotty react, Carmen?
Snotty's drawing blood.
No.
The weremouse.
She would be kind of okay with it, like not really engaging or acting reassuring, but also not being hostile like towards Humphrey, and it's more of a find out situation.
Yeah, okay. So wary but not aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think she would just be there, and if she gets some pets out of it, that would be nice.
Okay. All right.
Santiago is not convinced yet. Staying away from that mouse.
Sure. But that definitely seems to reassure Gwen as well, and she seems to be a little bit less laser focused on finding her feet as she kind of keeps her hand resting on Snotty as you continue moving. All right. let's say after you kind of walking in, and the going is pretty slow as well because it's getting just thicker and thicker now. You're kind of in the middle of the tree, right? Even though you're not quite to the middle of the tree, you're kind of in the middle of like it's just going to be it's going to be as thick as this, just going up vertically now, if that makes sense. So it is very thick. It is very hard going. And at some point, you probably want to stop for a bit of a break to eat. I guess Humphrey will probably come back and make a suggestion at some point.
Did Humphrey spot anything else?
You've not spotted. Nope. With your role as well. You're pretty sure at the moment it's fairly quiet morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Humphrey would have left also like way signs, like marks for Letha to that those two are used to each other to communicate in the wilds, even if they are far at a distance. So leaving like needles of different size aligned, so which goes directions, little carvings in the branches for.
We've also brought chalk for making little signs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So when you stop, it's very hard to know exactly where you are because it's hard to get your bearings in a thick forest like this. But you kind of think that maybe if you're lucky, if you keep making good progress, you should be able to reach the outskirts of the Dreadwood by evening. So you're probably about halfway to the Dreadwood, maybe. But again, it's very, very hard to know these things because, again, you don't have a map of this pinewood forest. There are no trails or roads or anything like that. So it's more a case of just your own kind of gut instincts and your own experiences from having been here previously. But again, you can't be completely sure. All right.
Humphrey's joining the group during the break.
Yeah.
Like, everything's awfully quiet. Tad too quiet for my taste. I know.
What would say right when you say that, just like your tempting fate, you hear in the distance a scream, but an animal scream, cut off abruptly. And this agitates Snotty quite a bit.
No.
Me or the scream?
Oh, both.
You will never know.
No, specifically when I guess as you come back to the camp and you mention that, you're kind of like keeping a healthy distance between you and I was gonna say the killer rabbit, but this isn't Monty Python.
It's just a matter of sessions until
you buy a holy hand grenade.
Or Santiago needs a holy hand grenade.
So you're keeping your distance, and it's basically when you hear that kind of distant scream. We'll say it's kind of off to your left, so as you're kind of heading into the trees, kind of that direction. But yeah, it's definitely relatively far in the distance, but it's loud enough that it kind of makes its way through all the branches, and as I said, gets cut off shortly after it starts. But yeah, Snotty is very, very much agitated.
I would gently go over to her and calm her down.
Yeah.
Like scratching her between the ears and talking to her.
Yeah.
As I thought. Oh, sorry.
Well, Gwen just kind of helps and is kind of she's not quite bonded with Snotty, but she's had her hand on Snotty now for the past sort of hour or so. So she's also kind of helping you with it. Yeah.
It kind of calms her down too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it a bit more quiet, to be honest.
Yeah. That could be anything, right? Or
only one reason why the little critters don't show up. There's something else around. Bigger thing. Maybe not even from here. Maybe from the deadwood.
Might be, but maybe it's no longer hungry because I think it kind of got something to eat.
It's an optimistic way to think of it.
If it's big, does it eat one thing or many things?
Depending. I mean, spiders store snacks. They're a bit like me.
Yeah, Humphrey looks to Letha. Nearly not visible, shakes his head. I don't know. Ever heard tales of the fog giant?
No.
No?
Well, been the terror of the Dreadwood for quite some time. Huge creature. Always hungry. Always hunting. Was dreaded. Then some said that it could gobble up an entire squadron of fairy scouts during the First Household War. Turned out it was a giant net-casting spider, a beast that laid traps worthy of the best. I don't know if we could have found it. Someone pulled.
Gwen pipes up. But I heard that it was killed, wasn't it?
Was. So did I. So heard I. But...
So that couldn't have been it. That couldn't have been it. No. No, it's dead.
Oh,
Sure,
but
surely
spiders
it's dead.
have many offspring.
Yeah.
Her face
Where
drops.
one comes from, they're usually more.
Maybe there is
let's
a new
hope.
one. And you kind of see Letha having a bit of fun with this. This is like...
Yeah. Humphrey's that serious. And even though he has a really edgy, creepy bedtime ghost story talk, he's very serious about relaying this information.
Santiago is fluctuating between fear and thinking of, oh, I could be the one that kills them.
Yeah.
You then hear some branches cracking. It's in the distance, but it's definitely made by something fairly large. That's why you can hear it.
All right.
Imagine like a troll passing through a Scandinavian forest, thick pine forest, crunching through branches snapping, that sort of sound equivalent. But no, again, you can just kind of hear it on somewhere in the distance. It kind of fades in, and you're kind of all just listening. And then after a few minutes, it kind of fades away again. So something passing off same direction where you heard the scream from, in fact.
From the same direction or into the same direction?
From the same direction. Off
right.
to your the left, that sort of way.
All right, so it's moving past our route.
You can't be sure.
Okay.
It's not passing it's passing somewhere to your left. I'm saying left. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's kind of to the north.
Yeah.
as
you're heading, Humphrey,
you're heading east, sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, Humphrey's looking to Letha and says, I checked the vicinity of the next few miles. Should be clear so far. Left your marks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid I have to check this out. Be a shame if something got us on our way back.
Well,
maybe we should just stay here, Gwen says.
Nah. The longer we stay here, the easier we are found. We left tracks. We're talking. The critters around us notice us. And this kind of information will relay. We're not exactly quiet or unnoticeable.
it is true, but should we kind of head out for a little, safer campsite for the night?
We should definitely look for a safer campsite.
It's like midday. You've definitely got like a good 4 or 5 hours still.
But if we make it to the vicinity of the Dreadwood, it is very important we get a safe place where we can't get attacked from whatever gets out there.
Mm-hmm.
We should also take into consideration to sleep with our masks on, just for the case that the wind turns, some spores floating in our direction. Would be a nasty surprise to suffocate in our sleeps, wouldn't it, Miss Summers? I looked to Gwen.
That would be terrible. Yes. She kind of giggles, like chuckles, like you made a joke, and then she sees your face and her chuckle just, oh, right.
Well, Happy, should we have a quick snack and then move on?
Yeah. I suppose
Probably.
So.
And maybe we should keep it a bit quiet as long as this thing is around.
Okay.
So you're gonna have a quick meal break.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
Humphrey just grabs some rations and eats them while heading out again.
Heading off towards the sound of the noise, right?
Yeah. Well, he's careful, of course, but yeah.
Okay. And as he's heading that direction, after you've had a quick bite to eat, then I assume that Letha is then going to start following the marks that Humphrey left to keep heading, stay on the move. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Humphrey would have told Letha meeting point. Maybe the part his last mark that he did. He will catch up to them, and if he hasn't catched up to them before, they will meet there. I suppose. Okay. They should wait. Yeah.
Okay.
Before we set out, Santiago's gonna check how much there was left of that wine bottle, and he's thinking, should I drink this now if I die, or should I save it if I survive?
You had, if I remember correctly, you had like a quarter bottle left, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That's a very important decision you're gonna have to make.
It is, and he's saving it.
Okay.
For a while.
I mean, you wouldn't want to die. You wouldn't want to die with a bottle of wine that hadn't been drunk on your body. That would be a disgrace.
That would be a big disgrace.
Okay.
Keeping it close at hand.
So I did mention the terrain, that it was now thicker going and slower going. What I didn't mention was the light levels, and it's midday, so it's the brightest it is in the house. You're not far from one of the windows of the house as well, so there's a good amount of light that comes through. However, the tree, as you're heading further into the tree from the top of it where it's toppled over, the branches, the verticality of the tree is increasing, which means this is a nice convenient sort of point to say it's not only hard going now, but it's also starting to get darker as you're going in, like a thick dark forest. If you've read The Hobbit, you imagine like Mirkwood kind of. It's if you know where they are staying on the path for the short time they were on the path, there was a little bit of light kind of coming through the treetops, but it very quickly got very dark. You're kind of getting to that dark part now. Still enough light that you can see where you're doing, but it is getting kind of like a gloomy, almost like a dusk sort of level of light, which means I'm going to require some critical tests for you not to take some stress in a minute. But that's what's happening with you as you're continuing along. It's starting to get darker. You're following the marks that Humphrey has left. Jakob, back over to... Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Back over.
I would have
over
headed to the toilet while you are playing with Lisa and Santiago, but I can wait.
We'll do this quickly, and then we'll go back to them. Yeah.
Sure. All right.
If you can hold it.
Yes, I can. I rolled well. Yeah.
Critical
willpower.
Success on bladder control.
Yeah.
Master of my bladder.
It's a special skill I took. During character creation. So, all right, let's go.
You're kind of like taking your time. You're trying to be quiet, so you're not going for speed. You're going for stealth here, and it does take you about 15 minutes or so before you clearly come across the trail of this thing, and you very quickly realize, because you're an experienced hunter, that this is a very large centipede. This is the trail of a large centipede. Yeah.
Okay.
And as you kind of like just look around a bit, you also, it doesn't take you long to find some fresh blood and some tufts of fur. Gray fur. Yeah, a rodent. It's probably from a rat.
Probably a rat or a mouse, yeah. Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably not a lot of mice here in this deep in the forest, because there's just too many predators. But there certainly would be rats.
What do I know about centipedes? How do they hunt? How do they perceive their surroundings? I suppose they have rather bad sight and like.
You tell me, because I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. So I could open Wikipedia or the.
Well, they have antennae.
They
have antennae, of course.
They have antennae, yeah.
I'm not aware of them having really like big eyes or anything. So I imagine a lot of it is more on vibrations and on. I don't know. I mean, most of the centipedes I've seen in real life are also like under rocks and stuff too, so they're kind of underground a bit, where the vibrations make a bit more sense. This is not underground, so we'll go with vibrations and just general scary sense. You know, they've got monster senses.
Yeah,
but poor eyesight.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. All right, and I'm looking in the direction the centipede headed. Like,
it's like a nice paved road, almost the equivalent, because it's smashed through everything in its path.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's kind of going parallel to the way you were heading, but you see up ahead it starts to kind of branch off away from where you're heading, off to the left a bit. So it's following its own internal compass
pattern,
but heading away from, like, because it's going parallel to this is a path that that Letha and everyone is on, that Letha's trailblazing. It's going kind of parallel to it here, and then it starts to curve away, which is better than curving towards them, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Whether it stays like that or if it kind of wiggles around, you don't know. But yeah, that's what you can see in the distance.
Okay, so I would follow those tracks for quite some time, just to see if it does recharge its course into our direction,
Okay.
and then head back to Letha and the rest of the group.
Okay.
As quickly as possible. Yeah.
The trail doesn't. At some point, it kind of starts going up a little bit, up into the tree, like vertically. But by this point, it's heading directly away, perpendicular, away from your own path, as it starts kind of like tunneling at a sort of vertical angle up into the tree.
Okay.
And you feel like as you've been following it this far, you're pretty significantly further than the furthest you were on your arc previously, so it's probably okay. But you can definitely still keep an ear out for this one. You'll hear it definitely before you would see it. There's no way this would be able to sneak up on you. It's kind of like a sandworm from Dune almost. It feels like, now that I'm talking about it. Oh. You can kind of tell they're coming. You can hear the slithering, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I head back. I'm still cautious, even though, especially when the centipede is heading a different direction. This would mean other critters could return sooner or later. So but Humphrey is moving fast towards the group.
I guess what you would know about a centipede of this size is also that it's like apex predator. So most other creatures would keep away from it, including big spiders and things, unless they were cornered, that sort of thing. There's not much that's bigger than this centipede. So yeah.
And it's totally out of my Letha's league, I suppose. Just think about the den.
I mean, they have been killed. They have been killed in the past, but it's usually a team of hunters tracking it for weeks, setting up traps. I mean, you're absolutely not prepared for it, even with Litha and Santiago's illegal pistols.
Yeah.
You wouldn't.
No,
I
no,
don't
of
think you'd
course.
stand much of a chance.
Yeah.
It's definitely more like an environmental hazard than a potential successful combat encounter.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I head back to the rest of the group. And,
Okay.
as I thought.
Can you also give me before you get back to them, a caution test?
All those.
All those dice. Yeah.
Yep. Well, this is a basic success, so I'll do a
Oh.
reroll. All right, that's a critical.
Okay.
So I'm not running. Lisa, Santiago,
Yeah.
look what I found.
They're kind of
Here.
because you kind of went off to the side. They're probably a little bit ahead of you. You're a bit behind them.
Yeah.
I'm
hurried.
You hear something coming back the way that, like, from the path that they were following. Might be some sort of like the patter of feet, maybe something along those lines. You also hear a branch snap, which is what makes you stop to listen further. Then you think you hear like a footfall. You're not sure what kind of creature's foot, but like a step. And then it goes quiet. But yeah, then it goes quiet.
Okay. How close was the sound of the feet?
Probably like maybe it's hard to gauge again because of how sound travels through all this undergrowth and stuff. But you'd probably estimate anywhere between 100 and 300 meters, tiny meters away.
Right. So what Humphrey would do is very carefully, very sneaky, climb up one of the branches to have some high ground and have, for once, a better lookout for whoever or whatever is approaching. And on the other side, he's safe from a direct attack of any critter, and he can get away much more easier.
Yeah.
And he has a better shooting range, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to ask for an athletics roll here because there's plenty of. It's so thick, the forest here, and it goes vertically so easily. It's super easy to climb. It'd be like climbing the easiest tree in the world, right?
But something like illusion or caution, just to be sneaky.
If you want to be sneaky about it, then definitely I'll take an illusion test, yeah, because that's all about doing stuff stealthily. Again, you've got 3 skill plus 2.
All right, yeah. Do you want to show the character sheet for the audience?
Sure. Yep.
Right.
So this is
so
illusion plus street, so that's 3 plus 2.
right, nice die. All right, those are 2 basic successes. I think I take this.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're relatively sneaky. It's hard to be super sneaky. It's hard to be like Santiago when he's climbing a sheriff's balcony.
I'm a ghost.
But you do manage. You're relatively sneaky, as sneaky as you can be. You feel. You do make a little bit of noise, but yeah, you get to the position you wanted, relatively high up, but so you can still keep an eye below you. And you wait there for a bit. How long do you want to wait there? If you don't see anything. Bearing in mind that Letha is probably soon going to be getting to the edge of where you'd marked off. She can definitely still keep going on her own, of course.
Yeah, sure, but we meet there, so
yeah,
I suppose she will wait at least for quite some time, or a little time. And Humphrey's way faster than the party when he's on his own. So I wait for about 10 minutes, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wait.
Was very near. I heard steps, so I really want to know what's coming from our direction, or maybe following the party's trails. Yeah.
You don't hear any more steps, but you do at one point, we'll say about like 5 minutes or so while you're kind of waiting, you do hear some more branches snapping, but these are further back. Again, the way that you were coming. So yeah, probably more like 500 meters to or like around that, like the next range band further, if you will. Potentially you hear some other like snapping, like a branch snapping, but nothing
away
else.
from the party, away from
yeah,
the
away
group,
from the party,
or...
like further back the way you were coming. Like back towards the, like away from the party. But kind of also like if you're what I imagine is like if the trail's like this, you're on the trail that Letha and everyone has been taking. You've gone vertically up and you're looking backwards along the way that they had come.
Yeah.
And you hear the sounds further back, but still the way that they had come.
Yeah. They could easily follow our trails, I suppose. If Humphrey or Letha on their own would be around, that'd be fine. But we got Gwen and the mouse and Santiago.
You've been marking your path with chalk too. Yeah, which is
with chalk. Yeah, this as well. Yeah. Humphrey would carve it, but never mind. Yeah.
Carving, or if you're using the chalk, regardless. If you think this is like other littlings who wanted to follow you, then it wouldn't be too hard. If that's what somebody wanted to do, sure.
Yeah, sure. Also, Letha could destroy them easily, easier than the carvings. So yeah, chalk or sticks sorted to size, or something like that, like little needles arranged to certain symbols. You could also easily disperse with your food. So,
but Letha's also making a path as well.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
Yeah. That's yeah.
Okay. Humphrey is very curious. This really sounds like this were littlings and not any critters. So, I'm cursing under my breath and hurry along the branches and try to catch up to those that were in our trails. Maybe other scouts, and I want to know who's behind us. So yeah.
So you're gonna head back?
Yeah.
Sorry, head back towards the sounds or head back towards the party?
Head back towards the sounds. Humphrey is curious and wants to know what's up. Yeah.
Okay.
I can overexert myself anytime later.
Are you trying to do this stealthily, or are you trying to do this in some other way?
Yeah, I'm trying to do this stealthily, but I'm also in a hurry, so yeah, Humphrey's gonna restrain himself. He's gonna go stealthily. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you give me another illusion test, please? I don't usually ask for multiple rolls of the same type, but this kind of makes a bit of sense as you're doing this a little bit differently.
Okay, I've got one basic success, and I'm do a reroll. Nope. Oh, this is a failure.
Okay. Yeah, so you're not stealthy. You're trying to be stealthy, but at some point you step in just the wrong place. Yeah. Drum sand. I'm using the dune analogy. Yeah, it's like just as you're putting all of your weight on, it's like, oh, that was loud.
Yeah. And I freeze.
And you then see someone of a littling wearing a cloak that makes them blend very, very well into the forest. They have a keysket that has been rubbed down with some sort of dark, maybe tar or something, so that doesn't gleam. It doesn't shine, anything like that. If a stray bolt of sunlight should fall upon it, and they have like a scarf pulled up over their nose and mouth, so you can just they have the cloak is like pulled up like this, so you can just kind of see their eyes. So, yeah.
Okay,
and they're kind of like in some underbrush, and the only way you see them is when they kind of stand up, and they're not pointing their keysket at you, but it's kind of like roughly in your direction. You can't really see, but like kind of pointing at the ground. Or if they wanted to, they could lift it up fairly quickly.
Yeah. Same with Humphrey, I suppose.
Okay. The figure is quite slender,
Mm-hmm.
but it's hard to tell with the cloak on anything more than that. You can't tell what folk they are or anything like that. Their skin color around their eyes is kind of a sort of palish skin color from they could be a salamander, a boggart, a fairy, a sluagh. I mean, basically could be anyone. Definitely not an undine or a sylph, because they have very distinct skin coloring
Features.
Yeah.
All right.
But you can't really tell. Like, they're just literally a bit of eye that you can see. Frame is, as I said, relatively slender. They're kind of tall, but nothing unusually tall.
Okay. So Humphrey nods, says, "Good hunting." And just for my bladder's sake, could we do a little cliffhanger and switch to Letha and Santiago?
Go for it. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, that was meant to be a quick one.
Never mind. Yeah, it was my own prison of my own making, I would say.
All right. So back to Letha and Santiago. You've reached the end of the trail markers that Humphrey left. And it's very, very, it's quite dark here. And you've been waiting here, expecting Humphrey to turn up at any time, but half an hour goes by. No sign of Humphrey. About another half hour goes by. No sign of Humphrey. And you can see that Gwen is starting to get very, very twitchy. You basically just we're telling her how, about how the fog giant might have had babies. And it's not safe to stay in one place. You have to keep moving, and now you're like even further into the like the deep dark forest, and now you're just sat here. She hasn't said anything yet, but you can see she's getting more and more agitated as time is going on.
Well, Humphrey is a seasoned traveler. I'm trusting him.
Yeah,
I
but
think.
this takes way too long.
Okay.
Like,
Gwen
he should
actually,
be here.
once you start talking, Gwen kind of goes over to Santiago and says, "Could I have a small draft of your wine just to help settle my nerves?" Please.
Excellent idea. He pulls out the cork with his teeth and hands it over hesitantly.
Hesitantly. She had a big swig last time, didn't she?
Yeah, she had.
She takes a small mouthful, holding the bottle, then takes a second one and then hands it back. Thank you. And then she goes back to looking around.
It's quite okay, blushes. And he takes a swig as well and looks over to Letha. Do you want some?
No, not really. This seems safe for the moment. I mean, Humphrey checked it out. I would go not far. I will just do a little circle around us, see if he kind of just missed a mark, right? I will not stay far away. Like I'm not moving anywhere, but I'm kind of getting a bit nervous. I want to listen out for him. And
great.
if I could, I would climb up a little to see if I can get to a spot where I can have a better overview of the surroundings.
I would say it's actually almost trivially easy to climb up here, even easier than with Humphrey. In fact, you have the distinct impression that it's going to be hard to continue along at floor level because of how thick it's getting, and you're going to have to start kind of imagine it's getting hilly as well as forested, kind of. So very, very easy to do that. But again, you're kind of hindered a bit in how dark it is, with not being able to see too far around you. You do your circuit. You don't see any other signs from Humphrey. You don't see any other signs of danger either. But the thing that immediately jumps out at you as a seasoned hunter and guide is that this is the point it's going to it's going to get hard. The going is going to be harder now, just because it's going to be more. The ground is going to be less even, effectively, and you're going to have to be kind of going up and down and up and down. Would Letha have come this deep into the Pinewood Forest previously?
Don't think so. Like, this is really close to the Dreadwood, I think. Like, we're kind of.
You've never been close to the Dreadwood, but you're the further you go in, the closer you're getting to it. Because as kind of a lot of hunters know, is that it's deep in the Pinewood, and you are deep in the Pinewood now.
Yeah, I think she would probably have pushed it a little further, but not really that much. It's just like sticking your nose into somewhere where it doesn't belong and being like, no. Sorry, not alone.
You do notice that there is a spot a little bit further ahead. You're going to have to start kind of climbing up a bit, but it's not too far ahead of the last mark that Humphrey had left, where everyone will have a little bit of a better view around them than because it's starting to elevate a bit. Not even quite a clearing, but there's just a convenient spot that's a little bit more convenient than where you've stopped, if you wanted to take that.
Yeah, I will get everyone up, at least just to keep them busy and to make them feel like they get a task and be able to do something, because that calms the nerves.
Yeah.
Letha, when you come back, Santiago is on his feet, Lancetta drawn, and trying to look casual, but he is very much not.
Okay. You also notice this spot when you get to this new spot. There's a little bit more. It seems like there's a tiny bit more light, perhaps, here as well. Like there's some gaps in the needles, allowing a little bit more sunlight to kind of penetrate through to the ground level here where you are. Yeah, which you could tell at least Snotty seems to appreciate that, if not everyone else.
All right.
Oh.
So we will use this as a lookout and stick to it for a bit longer, but if he doesn't show up in the next minutes, I say we head back a little and try to meet him, find out what happened to him.
Yes.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Good. Okay.
Gwen agrees too.
Okay.
So back
don't leave anyone behind, please.
Yeah. Okay. So back over to Humphrey. Good hunting.
Jakob,
you just said.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Thanks, Corin. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm back here. All right. Good. Chat can hear me as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we can hear you, the chat can hear you. It's all
Okay.
from my side. It's one external feed coming in. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Fantastic. So yeah, Humphrey is sitting on the branch, like frozen, but key sketch ready and unlocked, ready and loaded, and he just nods to the hunter or the person in the cloth, and nods and says, "Good hunting."
The person nods to you. Doesn't say anything back at first.
What you're after, hunter?
Same as you.
Oh, you know
detect
what I'm after.
You detected a tiny bit of an accent. Well, I'm assuming you're speaking Hearthish, right?
Yeah, or common. Is there
common?
a common?
Yeah, there's a common one too. What's it called?
Yeah. We're in the hearth, but depending on his posture and his stature, I would assume that this isn't necessarily a boggart. So yeah, I'm speaking common. Yeah.
Halcyon, it's called. Sorry. Yeah.
Halcyon. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They answer you in Halcyon, slightly accented, probably not a boggart, but you can't really tell. You can't really tell beyond that because they're not saying much. What was the thing? What was the last thing you said? Sorry.
What you're after?
Oh,
What you're hunting?
same as you. And the voice is high, and you think it might be like a feminine voice, but you're not 100% sure.
How would you know what I'm after, Mrs.?
Well, you're in the pine wood. You're hunting, surely.
Yeah, there are a lot of different things to hunt in the pine wood. So what I'm after?
Well, you're after a name for yourself, surely. I don't recognize you. And she kind of opens her cloak, like pulls her cloak back a bit, and you can see that she's got on her like clothing underneath it a symbol of the blue flame den.
Oh, okay. And I nod. Say, lower my keys a little bit more. Just to.
She says,
to take the suspense out of the situation. Sorry.
I don't know how much you know about hunting here, but all the best hunting is deep in the wood, and there's this very convenient path to follow.
Very convenient indeed.
I assume you've been following the same path. Probably some hapless explorers making it so anyone could find it. But I'll use it to my benefit.
That's
heading straight in to where I needed to go.
So to warn you, from one hunter to another, big critter out there, mother of all centipedes.
Oh, I heard
blazing this trail. Bet you did. Anyway, and I make a vague gesture in the direction it's probably right now, diverting her from, especially diverting from our trail.
Oh, I'm not after something that big. Just me. Something smaller will do. I'll keep following this convenient trail until I get deeper in, and then the fun starts.
Yeah. The fun. Sure.
You're not with any den, are you? I don't
yet.
recognize you. Not yet.
Not yet.
Making a name for yourself, are you?
Maybe you heard of my name. Name's Lockwood.
What is Lockwood? Ah, yes, yeah, your family's name, certainly.
And who do I have the honor speaking with?
Where's my name list?
Could you stop singing in the middle of the forest? Attracting the critters.
And she just broke out into song.
Oh, it's the musical session.
Yeah. Humphrey's starting now singing about how hard it is processing his feelings. And all the woodland animals.
Well? Do you start dancing?
Yeah, no, just singing and whirring around like a Disney princess, and all the woodland critters join in and reload the key scat, and I don't know.
All right.
Ooh, tension locking.
Yeah, you're just going to give me one quick second.
No worries.
Find a name. My name is Lena. I'm not from a fancy family like yours, but I am part of a rather prestigious den. Have you heard of us? The Blue Flame.
How could I not? How could I not? Visiting Chesterfield. Good strong name. Good strong den.
Yes. Well, I would, as much as I'd love to stay here chatting with you, we're probably bringing all sorts of terrors on us right now, making noise. I'd rather be on my way.
Then be on your way. It was good meeting you, Miss Lena.
And you, Mr. Lockwood. Good hunting.
Good hunting.
And she kind of walks past you on the
Okay,
trail
okay.
towards the others.
Yeah, sure.
But not at
yeah.
speed or anything. She's just kind of she's moving very, very stealthily.
Yeah.
Yeah. And pauses every
I'm
now and
gonna-
again. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna head into like 90-degree angle from that, very stealthily. And when I got the feeling that I'm out of earshot, I hurry way more. Maybe exhaust myself a little bit. I don't know. And mumbling on my breath, stupid Humphrey. Of course, was a hunter.
Okay. We'll say that by the time you make your way back, Letha, has just started. So sorry, Carmen, you've just started to think, or do I call you Letha or Carmen? We're in character. Letha
Both
just
is
starts
fine.
to think that okay, time's up. We need to start heading back. You're all just kind of turning around when Humphrey, rather out of breath it seems, in a bit of a rush, comes rushing up to the camp. Or the camp comes rushing up to you where you are. And Jakob, you need to remember that this is further than where Humphrey left his last marker. So like you saw where she'd continued along the way because the path is for you easy to find.
Yeah.
Sorry for the delay. We've been getting followed.
Oh.
Yeah,
man.
I already told you about the centipede. Or I didn't, right? Yeah.
No.
No.
Just one
You
as
haven't-
far as I could see. Huntress.
Someone fun? You didn't talk to them.
If you like hunting. Blue Flame then.
Depends on which kind of hunting.
I look around.
British.
Ah, okay.
Oh, it's critters or it's us.
She's following us in a trail.
Ooh.
Says it's a convenient way to pass, but don't know.
Santiago under his breath says, "Oh, the master, the evil mastermind sent her."
Oh, the paranoia is kicking in.
Do we hear this?
Yeah. He's not very quiet, but he's not saying he's saying to himself quietly.
Yeah.
So.
I'm fixating Santiago.
Mr.
What?
Swords guy. Know anything we don't?
No. I have a feeling I have been sought out for revenge. Someone is stealing my stuff repeatedly.
I'm kind of imagining you offending someone. Yeah.
Look to Letha.
Yeah,
Could be. Blue Flame then is pretty proud. Entitled assholes, one could say.
Oh, I haven't met many entitled arseholes lately.
Never mind.
Should we make a trap or a
We
welcoming
should
party?
keep watch.
Or maybe
Set an
we
ambush.
should move without leaving much of a trail behind if we can.
How could you?
And I look to the mouse and Gwen.
She's an experienced hunter. She will follow our tracks if she wants to.
No, true.
Could
Do
set
we
a
take
trap.
her out?
You notice
Yeah,
that Gwen
couldn't we
is
use that to our?
Gwen is
Shrug.
biting her fingernails.
Yeah, I shrug.
while you're talking.
If she's really only from the den, hunting for prey,
Okay.
probably isn't us. And if we capture her, chances to get into the den are
Yeah.
dim.
True. So
On
we
the other hand,
just
can't be too cautious.
let's just be careful. I really don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if she's just hunting for a critter in here, like especially if there are critters this large as you told us about. So I mean, hunting in a group would be much safer, wouldn't it?
Would it? But hunting a group of 4, I don't know. On the other hand,
I didn't mean to invite her. That's
No.
not what I meant. I mean that she's traveling alone.
yeah. And if she's hunting us, she's setting up against 4. Well, and I look to Gwen, and under my breath, maybe 3.
She
Let's
doesn't
just count.
doesn't pick up on that at all. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're not
Not exactly
counting
mean
Snotty?
I look to Snotty, full of suspicion. Talking about big critters, the mother of all centipedes went parallel to our trail for a while, then headed off northeast.
Right. That's
Yeah.
good news.
Explains why everything was so quiet.
Yep.
Headed up into the overgrowth. So we should definitely hear it coming. But if so, we're in for a bad time.
An idea. If this hunter is tracking us, couldn't we use our,
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Oh, your
I can't
audio
hear
cut
you.
out there.
Oh,
Couldn't we use?
oh,
It's
can you
back.
hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't we use this obvious trail as an advantage? Like one person singing boisterously at the end of the bar while others
Ah, you're cutting out.
grabbing the.
You're still cutting
Oh,
out.
no.
Cutting out
You're
again.
cutting out. I don't know what you're doing with your mic.
It might.
Can you
it
hear
might
me?
be. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
now
every
again.
now and again,
Uh-huh.
you cut out a bit, and then your voice comes back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just tap your
I'll try
microphone
to
very
be-
quickly. Again?
Could you hear that?
No. Tap your
No.
laptop microphone.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It would
No.
actually be a very
it-
good point to do a
Yeah.
cut because we are at halftime, and then we
Yeah,
can
we'll
fix
figure out this.
Rasmus's
We'll figure
micro.
out the audio. Yeah, good point.
Okay,
All right.
sorry.
No, never
good.
mind.
No, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it
Comes
out.
at a convenient time,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Hmm?
Okay. So we'll
Okay.
take about 10 minutes, and then
Yeah.
come back. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All
We'll
right.
catch you then. Oh.
Bye. See you later. I mean,
See you later. Yeah.
all right.
delicious.
All right, we're back. So you've met up, and you're going to continue pushing along?
Yeah. No, could I just try to say the thing I tried to say before?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me know if it cuts out again. Santiago, but couldn't we kind of use this big trail we're leaving to some kind of an advantage? You know, like you have a boisterous guy of sitting at the end of the bar. He's taking all the attention, and the sneakier people can walk around behind the robbers or the enemy or the... Yeah.
Well, we're not entirely sure if they are, right? I look to Letha.
Oh, no.
Wouldn't like to shoot an innocent.
No, not really. I just...
And if they are
Let's
not
just
innocent...
keep our eyes open and be careful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Running smaller circles, looking behind us. Maybe I surprise them when they want to do something dirty. I don't know. How long do we have, Letha? What do you think?
What does the time say?
Hard to say. Maybe early afternoon.
So we should
getting-
push on for a little bit.
It's getting
right?
quite dark.
Yeah,
Is that
that's
the
because of the
vegetation?
surrounding.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Of course I
Yeah.
knew that.
I figured we need to go up a little. Like, we can't stay on the ground anymore.
Claws down even more, but that was expected.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking over at Gwen in how's she taking this?
She looks very nervous. I mean, as far as she's concerned, Humphrey and Letha are the experts. You're there in case your lancetta is needed. If there's any big beasties that come creeping out. But she's clearly very, very nervous. Yeah. While you've been chatting, I won't ask for a roll for it. You do notice that the light briefly goes dim. I've mentioned that you're in a space where there's a bit more light coming through.
Okay.
Santiago looks up.
Yeah.
You see something.
Absolutely.
You see something just kind of like shift above you. The light comes back.
What
Absolutely no noise whatsoever.
What was that? Did you see that?
We all saw the quick
You saw
dimming
the-
of the light, right?
You would have all. I mean, whether you noticed or not, yeah, you would have all. You could have noticed it, yes.
Virus, probably. Look to Letha.
Yeah,
Okay.
most likely.
And a fast one at that.
Gwen says,
Tell you,
"Can we please keep moving?"
Yep, we should.
Absolutely.
looking to Letha, should stay together for now.
Yes, please,
Stay
don't
close.
step ahead, Goat.
Nope.
Let's go.
Santiago, still lancetta in hand, takes one step closer to Gwen and just looks around.
So yeah, Humphrey and Letha would do some hand signs, and Humphrey would go to the back of the group, like watching everyone's back.
Okay.
Keys get loaded.
Okay.
Watching
Yep.
Right behind us. Yeah.
Okay, so you start making your way forward again. As I said, the terrain is getting more difficult now as you start having to deal with verticality as well as just thick undergrowth. So I'm going to need from everyone a test. And this is going to be more of, you can choose whether you want it to be athletics or, let me just show the character sheet here. Athletics, which is definitely climbing, jumping, swimming, yeah, using agility and prowess, but also grace could be used here, which is keeping. It mentions keeping your balance. So, I'll take. But if you're gonna roll grace, you still have to use it with war, because war is also dominating your environment. It's kind of like the physicality skill. So it's either grace plus war, or athletics plus war, and it's really about how you're kind of approaching this this terrain.
Or
Whether
I'm
you're
gonna
trying to do
use
it with-
grace and war. That's so much better for me.
Okay.
I'm using athletics.
So that means the athletics is more like you're approaching this like an athlete, essentially, and grace is more like you're approaching it like a tightrope walker or an acrobat, if that makes sense.
And guess
So-
who has grappling hooks that can help us?
Ooh.
I just remembered it.
Mhm.
So they give me at least +1 on the roll, and if I go ahead, then everyone else profits from that as well, I suppose, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it kind of would help everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll for
So,
Gwen
yeah,
as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna break the formation, like heading up to Letha and having the grappling hook in hand, and just have a quick discussion with Letha.
But this is gonna be constant. This is gonna be kind of. This is a single roll for the kind of constant
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I think we were very slow because Humphrey and Letha are
Okay.
talking to each other about the preferred route, and then Humphrey makes ready the grappling hook and everything. So
Okay. Yep. So let's get the rolls.
Yeah. I started as well. Matt, could this my trait acrobat, could I use that now, or should I re-roll
Oh.
without the free re-roll?
It definitely comes into play here. I think.
Excellent.
Acrobat, gain a free reroll when performing acrobatics or breaking a fall. And because you're using grace, because it's more of an acrobatic type of movement, we're talking about balancing and stuff.
Yeah.
Then for sure, yeah, I'll let you get the free reroll there.
Thank you. And that really helped out. I can tell you. I had a basic. Now I have a basic and a critical.
Okay.
So do I.
And
Okay.
Letha?
I'm going for athletics.
Your target is a critical here.
Yeah.
by the way.
Let me push this. Yeah. So you got a critical.
Okay.
I'd like to take my basic to help Gwen.
So she rolls an extra dice.
Mhm.
Okay. I did already roll for her, but I'll roll one extra one. Nope. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah, she did not succeed.
Could we more than one help her, or is it?
Yeah, but I mean,
Humphrey
you're
helping?
basically this is a long going process that's taking a couple of hours, right? So it's just how are you faring in general along the way? If you kind of don't manage to get a critical success, it means that you're slipping a few times, like whacking your shins on things, or getting caught in some of the undergrowth, and you're just getting a little bit scraped up a little bit, if that makes sense. So I mean, I wasn't expecting all of you to roll critical successes, but that's fine. So she's gonna basically take some stress. That's all. Nothing too strenuous. Like no conditions or anything like that. She's not hurt. I would actually. I'm gonna give her the scared condition, just in case we end up using her character sheet, because she is scared. As well as taking some stress.
Totally.
But the rest of you don't have to take any conditions around that. So, yeah. Okay. So, you're going like this for, we'll say, a few hours, making a good push. It kind of doesn't get much worse. You're pretty much in the thickest part of the tree right now, or the pine wood, I should say, and it's just doesn't really let up. You're kind of going up and down through, like the branches are kind of all intertwined. If you imagine a massive like Christmas tree, that has fallen down on its side. It means on the ground you have all the compression of all those branches coming together as well. And the closer you get to the thicker part of the tree, there's just like, it's just, you know, compressed branches there. So it's a bit easier to traverse the higher up you go, but also the higher up you go, the more likely it is you're going to find spiders and things like that. So you generally want to try and keep as close to the ground as you can, but it's just getting more difficult just because there's so many branches in the way. But you kind of keep at it. I don't need any more rolls for not illusion. What's what I'm looking for caution. You don't see anyone from behind you, assuming that Humphrey is kind of keeping relatively close to the group and not like hanging right back. So Lena doesn't ever come close enough that you would actually notice her or anything. And we're gonna say because Gwen really bombed her roll, that you're also making much more noise than you were before. Whether that's her stress kicking in, her being scared, it's just she's slipping a lot. There's a lot of like noise, a lot more noise than there was previously. However, you don't get attacked by any creatures, and you feel like just at the point where you're starting to feel like maybe we should stop for the night or start thinking about looking for a camp. You notice up ahead what looks like thin tendrils of mist, very pale ashen colored mist, just like near the ground, just kind of trickling a little. Sorry, my hands are below below the camera line. They're just kind of like little fingers of mist kind of creeping around some of the branches.
Humphrey, is that?
Looks like we're getting closer to the Dreadwood.
So masks on?
Masks on, and I would suppose we won't travel further for the day.
Nope.
Don't want to get caught in there when it's dark, really dark, I mean. We should look for a safe place to stay, and maybe a place we can surprise any pursuers.
Thank the master,
Yeah.
Gwen says.
Oh.
She looks very disheveled.
Santiago goes over to her and out of his pocket looks at the last dregs of the wine and here you are.
Oh, Santiago, thank you. And she just downs. It's not a lot.
A small tear. No.
It's like the equivalent of a small glass of wine, right? Like 200 milliliters, 175 milliliters, something like that. She downs it.
She seems to need it. So,
yeah. She's probably thirsty as well. She's like, look, and then it's gone.
Yeah, she's gonna sleep tight.
Thank you, Santiago. She's red in the face already from the exertion, but she deepens a little bit more around the cheeks. You know, living up to
No
her.
worry blushes.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Are we stopping here? What's that? Is that fog?"
Oh, that's the mist of the Dreadwood, Miss Summers. You remember when I told you about?
Yes, I remember. So we're not stopping here, surely, right?
No, we look for a good place to stay for the night, but it's better we keep our masks on already. There might be some spores in the air, not enough to take us out in the next time, but better avoid any damage for the long term.
I see. She pulls her mask out. As do the rest of you. So let's see what we look like.
Yeah.
Yes.
See what we look like with the masks on.
Nasty. sewer
So
boy.
Jakob drew
Nasty
this
sewer boy.
this morning, or today, very quickly, before we started the session.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Love it. Letha looks like she has a cork, just like dunk.
I have a cork to spare. It will smell nice.
Love it.
Yeah, filtering
Yep.
through the fog. Yeah, yeah. Humphrey got really the most ugliest
Yeah.
plague doctor mask he could find.
Full over the head. Yeah, you're gonna
Yeah.
be sweaty under
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, but also the nose is flexible, so he can better aim with the key scan, which is the only reason he took it, and not because it looks super shitty.
Ah.
All right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Method to your madness. Okay.
And I suppose like Gwen also got a whole face mask, but had put her glasses out on top, so she could see.
On the outside.
Yeah, on the outside, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
At least in my imagination.
Yeah. Yeah, so you all put your gas masks on and you start looking around for a camp. I guess you're not going to look, you're going to maybe come away from the Dreadwood a little bit.
Yeah.
So you're not too close.
Santiago wants that at least. If the others say no, he will listen, but yeah.
Okay.
Not close to the gas or the poisonous fog.
So, just to figure out how good your camp is, let's get an exploration plus streets roll.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get some help with this. If anyone has more than 2 pips in it, in exploration, I should say, then they can help out. So Gwen actually has 3 in exploration. But I think she's probably, because she's drunk some wine and she's like just at her wit's end. She's not at her wit's end. She's a little bit stressed. I think she's probably not going to, we'll see, she won't be giving any help here.
She has minus in street,
1.
right? So.
Oh, and she's scared, which is -1 anyway. So let's just say she's not able to help as a kind of narrative thing. So yeah.
Santiago is not good at this, so.
Yeah. Not helping.
Humphrey would help, of course. But
So you both have,
both...
Go on.
Humphrey also would try to keep a lookout for any pursuers, but he can't do both. So yeah, I think they would split. They would split the effort. Letha, like Humphrey is keeping watch, and Letha is looking for a good spot to hide and to sleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Humphrey makes a caution roll. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So why don't you give me both of those rolls then, please?
Mm-hmm. That is.
Caution I can help with, but not.
Well,
wait.
not
Do I get a +1 from the help, or is it?
No, there's no one helping you,
No.
unfortunately, because Humphrey's decided.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So it's 2 basics.
Okay. You get a risk of reroll. Or is that with the reroll?
The reroll would only be 1 die, I think. So.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
I
because you
wouldn't
rolled
risk
5.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
Humphrey's got a critical and a basic.
Okay.
Could I
fairly. Yeah, go on.
If I got a spare success like this, I would like to use it to help Letha.
Okay, we can. This is happening over quite a period of time, so, and maybe in your scouting you're able to help find something that might be suitable. So, Carmen, if you roll 1 additional die, see if that will have helped.
Okay. Nope. Mm-mm.
But then you've got 2 available dice that you could re-roll if you wanted to.
That is true.
Just a
come on. Let's see if I get it. We're here for gamble, and that does the trick actually.
So you got a critical and a basic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, you guys are killing these rolls, more or less.
With a little help of my friends.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, you find a good camp, a really suitable campsite. It takes you a little while to find it. Maybe like, I don't know, good 20-30 minutes of looking around. But it's imagine like it's hilly because these branches are kind of like all laying on top of each other. But that means there's plenty of opportunity to find these little almost like little caves or impressions between branches where you can find these little openings that are just ideal for an out of sight sort of campsite area. So you find one of those. It's actually opens up quite big underneath, and it's got this natural like branch ceiling kind of that's very thick. It's very dark inside, basically almost pitch black. But it's also, it doesn't go, it's not like a huge cave system or anything like that. It's basically just like a shallow but quite spacious cave that you find. Rasmus, did you want to say something?
Yeah, on the way, if we are able to talk, I think Santiago has a small story for Gwen, just to make her distracted, about his teacher Niello, who taught him to do sword fighting, but on plinths and small walkways and stuff in a big gymnasium, and it was very good practice for this situation actually. And he talks about himself as the big ego he is.
As one does.
as you do, yeah. You're not sure if it helps. It probably helps a bit to distract her for sure. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, you eventually have your camp. You make your camp for the night and set your watches.
No fire, I suppose.
Up to you to decide if you want to fire or not.
Is a fire in a very dead, very dry Christmas tree a really good idea?
Yeah. And also, we would have been spotted, so definitely not. And if Humphrey could, he would look for a separate lookout spot from outside of the camp. So I see, because we are like in a cave, right? So it's very closed, and you could look through like the little holes and bits, but I think it's better if the night watch has a separate lookout just to spot any intruders early on. And Humphrey,
I mean, you're going to struggle because the visibility, I mean, it's getting nighttime now too, so the little light you did have is rapidly disappearing, and once it's gone, it's almost going to be effectively it's going to be like a moonless night in a deep forest. You're not going to be able to see shit. It's going to be completely pitch black practically. So you're like having a lookout. I mean, you're not going to see much theoretically. You're probably better off with these bell and rope.
Oh yeah,
things that you had before.
We set this up as well. Yeah, sure. We set this up as well. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, it's gonna be tight for Snotty and Letha and the Republic, and then also Humphrey coming in that small cave with the mouse.
Yeah,
that's why Humphrey's looking for a lookout spot.
You're really doubling down on this tired condition, huh?
Yeah, sure. Even if it's just I'm sitting on a branch, try to sleep. Not the first time, I suppose. Humphrey slept on a branch. And he would look for a good spot and then drag his smelly bedroll with him.
Let's also not forget in terms of light. Sorry, totally forgot. Just interrupt very quickly. Letha can provide light without fire being a silence.
True that. Yeah.
Totally forgot about that.
So but I would rather do it like inside the cave, like when we are all sheltered and not like out in the open where we can be spotted easily. So I would kind of when we kind of settle down and just get comfortable, I would just light up my hands.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Yep. All right. So it's not quite as like gloomy as it could be because you do have some light, but you're aware that as soon as you fall asleep, or your lights go off, it's pitch black, especially inside the cave.
Yeah.
But they basically serve as torches, like they are pretty bright.
I'd like to think that you can control how like they can go up to a certain brightness, but you can also make them not super bright if you don't want to. Yeah.
Sure. Can I do that?
You can control which ones, like whether it's your hands or your feet or your head. I think that can light up.
My nose.
Or your nose.
It could be. I could be. Rudolph the whole
I
thing.
I think it makes sense that like there's a certain maximum brightness that you can do, which is like a torch, like
Yeah.
a bright flame. But
But
I'm sure you
in-
could just do it like a little bit.
In
Yeah.
darkness, if you have a light just there, you will be totally blind.
I'm
Yes.
just using it as a reading lamp, so that's how it goes.
All right.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm just
Are
looking
we
at
doing
my
watches?
yeah. I'm just looking at my outline for the session, and we're still not very far into it. So, let's just you set the watches, and nothing's gonna happen overnight. Okay. Because we need to move the story along, and none of this stuff is in the actual published content. We're still not there yet.
But
Um,
we're having fun.
yeah. You're having fun in the woods. It's good.
Mm.
But we'll
Fun
just
in the
kind of
woods.
narratively push past and say, you set up your watches. Nothing happens at night, other than you hear the occasional because you're in the wilderness. There are animals that are going to be moving around, but you don't hear anything. Nothing sets off the perimeter alarms that you set, and it's mostly just kind of smaller things that are kind of moving around, foraging or hunting or whatever. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, morning comes and everyone's rested other than Humphrey.
Well,
You come out of your cave and you can see again, although it's still kind of dark. And you realize that it's probably not super early, because if it was super early, the light probably wouldn't have come. You wouldn't still probably be able to see very much at all. So the fact that you can see a little bit means it's more like maybe like 9 o'clock in the morning rather than something like 6 o'clock, if that makes sense.
Oh, this is early to get up at 9.
10 o'clock then.
No. I think
That's for
Santiago is
Santiago.
just used to sleep in a bit.
Yeah. Not that you have a watch, of course, but yeah, just to give you an idea. It's not that's you're kind of waking up with the light a little to a certain extent, and it just takes a little bit longer to get through the branches. Okay, so you're at the edge of the Dreadwood. You notice that Gwen had taken her mask off. She didn't sleep with her mask on, but she seems fine.
Mm-hmm.
She puts it back on. You notice
Did
in the
your
morning
other
when
guys
she's putting
sleep
it
with
back on.
Yeah.
You notice it with
Yeah.
the light then.
Did everybody sleep with the mask on? Okay, yeah, then we did that.
That
Felt
was
like.
that was the discussion that you should
Yeah.
do it.
Then we did.
not a
Oh,
very good
I'm
night's
sweaty.
but yeah. Oh yeah.
I kind of feel like choosing to do that is probably you should probably take a condition for it.
Yeah.
Although there isn't really one there.
Smelly, or no?
Maybe we could take blinded, because the masks are like
Oh yeah,
Or ridiculous?
hard to see.
I
Ridiculous.
also love ridiculous.
Yes,
Yeah, ridiculous.
exactly, Tama.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah,
Take
especially-
ridiculous then. For
Yeah,
me, it was
sure.
more a case of like it's you've got things like being embarrassed, confused, hurt, scared, sick, poisoned,
Yeah.
blinded, drunk, etc. So for me, it was more a case of like the physical discomfort of
Yeah.
wearing a mask while you
Yeah.
slept,
Mhm.
because you probably didn't get
Could
you
be.
probably didn't sleep in the most comfortable position you could, and you're probably quite sweaty under there just from all the condensation from breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, what about
And
tired?
it's tired, or
I already got tired, so
what is more fun for gameplay?
I
Because
think
ridiculous is
I think everybody takes tired other than Humphrey, who already has tired, then takes an additional one. Well, you'll take
Humphrey takes ridiculous because he really does.
because you have an
Yeah,
elephant trunk.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the mole. I'm the mole man. Yeah.
Nasty sewer boy.
Nasty sewer boy, gross child.
Just hope that Sweaty is not finding that to pee on.
Yep.
I'm just
So-
giving the DM some ideas here, or GM.
Mm.
this also means that Gwen has her stress will have gone away. I think she's probably still scared though.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna leave that condition with her. Yeah, until I think she's gonna be scared until she's probably out of at least the deep forest. Yeah. Okay. So, sorted that all out. You've got your all got your masks back on and ready to head into the Dreadwood. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
The first thing you notice as you kind of start entering this area called the Dreadwood is that it lightens up. It's actually easier to see, and that's because you're not sure what's happened here, but there's this like whitish coating over everything. Think of like a frosty morning when everything's coated in a layer of frost. It's like that, but instead of it being like that sort of very white ice color, it's a slightly more ashy color, if you will. So more like a dirty white kind of, if that makes sense. And it's foggy, for want of a better word. You are stepping into a cloud of spores in this area. The spores are kind of coating everything. You notice also as you're moving, if you kind of like lift your arm up and you kind of like rub, you're kind of smearing this, like these spores kind of smear on your clothes. It's kind of sticking to everything. And every now and again you have to kind of wipe your goggles so that you can kind of still see. But it also seems brighter too, like more light is coming through, and you realize that the terrain is also a little bit easier for some reason. Maybe the mold is eating away at some of the tree, and in fact, you do notice there are much fewer leaves. Needles.
Yeah.
It's like something is interacting with the tree in a way that it's kind of thinning it out ever so slightly, which as you look up as well, you can see it kind of the mold seems to go up a little bit. It doesn't seem to be still thick above it, but again, the higher up you go, the less dense it is as well. So it's all kind of coming together to mean that you have a little bit more light, which is good because with the goggles on, it does restrict your vision to an extent. So it's kind of almost like, if you can imagine, like if you didn't have the mask on, then it would be much brighter. But with the mask on, it's kind of like the same level of brightness, or as where you just were. Still dark. Yeah. Still kind of hard to see, but at least it could be worse.
Santiago will, I think this is not consciously, but he will during the first part of the walk try to look at stuff and reach out and not touch them, but reach out and discover how far. So he's unconsciously checking his deep side, how his distance viewing is. And I think that is something for his fencer brain is important.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
I think that's a mannerism you notice, perhaps.
Yeah. So there's this kind of like off-white gray, kind of browny gray sort of frost and fog all around you. It's not so thick that you can't see. Like it's not like a super thick mist where you can only see, I don't know, like 2 meters in front of you. It's just kind of, it's a bit thinner than that, but it is kind of just floating in the air all around you in these spores. So, yeah, that's what it looks like. You do notice that there are some needles, but it's definitely not as thick. Now, I think both Humphrey and Letha will know that this is a place where very special types of, or very unique types of mushrooms also grow. So you might want to think about potentially foraging here. You'll both also know that there are special types of creatures that also live in here. Like there's very specific types of creatures which are hunted in the Dreadwood. But from talking about it before, Letha's never actually been in the Dreadwood before, and Humphrey's only been on the outskirts very briefly. I think you said once before. So now you're kind of heading properly into it, because this is where the map is telling you to go.
Miss Summers, please don't touch the coating. And I point to the mold spore tippings of our surroundings. What does this picture of yours say? What does this?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
Humphrey's only talking.
we're all muffled. But if we talk muffled, we're not going to understand each other yet. So
Yeah. Humphrey is.
What does this page of yours say about the location? Any marks, any landmarks we have to look out for?
She pulls her map out. Like she's made at least one copy of the map. So she pulls it out. Yeah, and exactly. She's like rubbing her goggles off and like. She
Taking her glasses, rubbing the glasses off.
Gestures Letha to come over to shine some light, so she has a bit more light to work with. Do you do that? Does Letha do that?
Oh God, I'm sorry. I kind of
zoned out. Gwen is getting the map out just to have a look at where if she can figure out where you're meant to go from here, and she gestures Letha over to try and give her some more light, because she's kind of got the goggles on. It's kind of a little bit hard to see.
Yeah, I kind of just hover my hands in a direction where she can see.
Okay.
And yeah.
Yep. It provides enough light. She kind of like is looking around, and then you can kind of tell like she has no idea where she's looking. She's just back and forth, and then she just kind of points, kind of like the way you were already heading. Like just keep going straight.
All right. What are we looking for?
Gwen says, an ornament, I think. An ornament. Or not an ornament.
Oh.
She wouldn't say ornament. One of these balls on the ground.
Okay.
We're looking for one that has fallen to the ground. You have seen a few of them on your travels, but yeah.
I've also heard that spiders are hiding behind them, so I've been looking for them. I'm learning.
Okay. Everyone watches out, I suppose. Stick together as a group. Yeah. This will probably take some time.
Yeah, probably.
Out of his belt, Santiago will take these kind of old, grungy, but still complete or repaired fencing gloves and put them on his hands.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
No problem. Okay, so you start heading deeper in as a group, and nothing attacks you. You do spot, after kind of walking through it after about 15 minutes or so, as you're getting deeper and deeper into this, further away from the edge of the Dreadwood, you're kind of deep into the Dreadwood now. You do notice a clump of mushrooms growing around the base of one of the branches. And these are, do you know what, I think they're called, are they called fly amarantin or something along those lines? It's the red, it has a red cap with white polka dots on it.
Oh,
very famous.
Flug, swamp in Swedish, yes.
Okay. In English it's called fly something with an A, fly amarantin or something like that. It's not
able
that.
to be used by people to get really angry in the Old Norse tradition.
Okay.
But it's not true.
But they sometimes they're sometimes quite big too. Like I've seen them. I've seen them like in Germany here. You can find them in quite a few forests. and we found some, and I was like, oh man, those look like the kind of ones that you see in films that are, or in cartoons, and it was so perfect. Like, I was kind of impressed, and also like this big around, the one the biggest one that we found, so quite
They
large.
can get pretty big.
So these
Yeah.
this is basically what you find, big, like a kind of a clump of them, and they're quite large. But instead of being, they're effectively, imagine those type of mushrooms, but instead of being red with white spots, they're kind of like a bone white color with dark gray spots on them.
Ew.
And none of you are exactly sure what this specific type of mushroom is, but you know that you've never seen it before, and somebody probably will pay well for it because it's probably one that only grows here in the Dreadwood.
Does Santiago know that?
No,
Or-
probably not unless you've talked about it previously, but
Nope.
Does anybody want to gather them?
I would love to, honestly. I think that would be fitting.
Okay.
Um,
I need you
Yeah,
to make a
Humphrey would
roll
like-
to not immediately die when you touch them.
Great.
Humphrey would make
Just-
a
just
step
joking.
to Letha and said,
Careful. Not what we're here for.
Yeah, but
he's hesitant. He doesn't want to stop you or something like that.
They're not even
He
out of the way.
quickly
You're
withdraws.
kind of walking right past them.
Yeah, and he quickly redraws, as if he'd overstepped a line or something like that.
Are they important?
Nestling at his keysket.
well, they are useful and like people would probably pay for it.
Oh, do you need help?
Oh, they're worth something.
Exactly. He's not that deep person.
Like,
He has.
I don't know. We if I could get some, that would be nice. They're probably dangerous, so well, yeah.
Do you need gloves? I have gloves.
All right, that would help.
Or
probably.
should I pick them up? I can pick them up. Poison is not very, very, very helpful for me, so I can pick them up.
Oh yeah, you're kind of the ideal
Oh yeah,
poisonous
that's
mushroom
smart.
gatherer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll hand you my knives. As a hunter, I think I'd have.
I'm guessing also I have a
Convenience
dagger in
thing.
my belt or a
Yeah.
I
knife
mean, not
in
a
my belt or
dagger, but
something.
you'll definitely have like a knife. I think everybody can have like
Yeah.
a basic knife, sure.
Yeah.
But
So
we
I
could-
just put them in
yeah.
in a bag, or no,
Yeah.
sorry, Matt.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, if you remember, you bought like general supplies for outdoor wilderness stuff, and that would have included things like knives and whatever.
Yeah. I'm guessing there's a worn place on Santiago's belt that have been a dagger, but he had to sell it.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But he takes out his small knife and some kind of bag. Do we have a bag? And I will kind of
Sure, you can.
know,
you'll have like a
gathering as
canvas.
much as possible.
You'll have a canvas
Yeah.
bag for sure available. Yeah. that you
So
can put it in.
they are important, all of them. I'm taking them
Yep.
and putting them into.
Go ahead and on your character sheet, just put something like in your inventory,
Mm.
clump of mushrooms or something along those lines. We don't need to count them. I'll remember it. Or
Yeah.
or just put Dreadwood
Mushrooms.
mushrooms. Dreadwood mushrooms.
Yeah, and it's you guys know Santiago is now at he's not taking just for himself. He's calculating he's gonna get a part of it.
Well, you're assuming it's worth a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what he's assuming always.
Yeah. Well,
It's
you
a
just
dark
you,
wood
it's
one,
just
right?
you're just making it tempting for me to make it not worth anything when you get back.
Yes, yes,
Just to
that's,
mess with
that's
you.
also very fun.
Okay.
I'm
Humphrey's keeping watch.
I'm gonna apologize for my spelling when you read stuff later on, but
Yeah, no problem.
that's just how.
So while Santiago is gathering, I would like both Letha and Humphrey to make a caution test, please. as you're kind of,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, looking around.
Yep.
And I want this to be with a -1 because of the. I mean, it's basically the blinded thing, but it's affecting your senses. You can't hear as well with these masks on. You can't see as well, so you're effectively blinded, even though you don't have the condition.
Does my Pathfinder trait come into play?
Yeah, it will. I think.
So
I got
about
4 of a
finding-
kind.
Finding your bearings in the wild, really.
Whoa! With -1 and you got 4 of a kind. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
I got 4 4s and 1 with the first roll. So
An extreme
Humphrey
success.
Push it.
really thrives in the ugly sewer boy mask. So yeah.
Just risk it and re-roll. It's no problem, right?
Okay, all right.
Okay.
What did Letha get?
With a reroll, I get a critical.
Okay. So let's play it like this. You're kind of keeping your like kind of watching around you, and Letha notices something moving in the distance. Behind you, the way you came, and you kind of maybe kind of like tap Humphrey on the shoulder and point that direction, and Humphrey. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you've just cleaned your goggles a little bit more recently. You see the bulk of something shifting slightly as it goes behind a branch. And
My snout wiggles in tension. And how exactly... It slithers, you say?
no, it's
Slides.
it's sort of like there's something. It's kind of roundish. The size of the size of a shield, of like a, think of a Viking shield, a round Viking shield. That's sort of I'm not saying it is that shape. It's sort of that size. To the littlings, not a human size one, obviously, but that sort of size. It's kind of round. It's kind of like a rounded thing. You assume it's probably the abdomen of a spider, potentially. You don't see any legs. And the color of this thing is exactly the same color as all of the as everything that's coating everything else around here. And it's, you literally, as Letha like motioned, like told you where to look, you just managed to see this brief movement before it's then no longer visible.
Yeah,
and we're talking about 200 meters maybe away, about that far, maybe a bit less.
Probably the offspring. Get ready, Letha.
And I ready my weapon, and I just wave to Santiago.
You say what?
Hurry up, swordsman. We're not alone. Probably the offspring of the fog giant.
Oh, yes.
You wouldn't have seen it without the extreme success. But there's also one other thing you see. As you're basically like focusing where you saw this thing. A little bit further back, between some branches, you also see some movement. And this is also the same color as all of your surroundings. And a much smaller shape closer to the ground, like just you see something moving between two branches.
Okay, not
but further away,
sized, but smaller.
Yeah.
So not littling size, but rather like a cockroach or anything.
It could be littling size, but not as big as the other thing you saw.
Creature. Yeah. And the littling size thing is behind us, and the other.
It's again
creepy
like
crawly is-
further back the way you came.
Okay.
Whereas
So the shield-shaped thing was also behind us, right?
yeah, but closer.
Okay.
All right, get into a good spot.
All
There's
right.
something following us and something more, maybe the hunter. And I point to the mushrooms. Take this position. Better defendable. Letha, can you get up there?
Probably.
Take a look at Stooge.
Just as you start looking around, you realize that Gwen isn't with you.
What?
Yeah, Humphrey gets clasping his keysket, shaking.
Miss Summers? Miss Summers!
And I try to shout without shouting.
You notice
Looking around.
her footprints are very easy to
Yeah.
find.
Yeah.
She's walked away from you,
Oh no.
like further away.
Yeah, I'm.
And in fact,
waiting for the
as you
others.
just start kind of stepping, you think you can see her, just a little ways away beyond the fog. There's a fog. So all those distances I told you are not nearly as far as I just said.
Oh,
Excellent. That's even better.
Everything's closer.
okay. Yeah,
Okay.
then I would wave to the others.
Stick together, Miss Summers! Miss Summers!
Yes.
And follow the footsteps. And I imagine us three back to back with each other, right? Like slowly going there, circling around, looking for Gwen and all the other.
Gwen is stood rooted to the spot, it seems like, kind of ignoring you. And when you come up to her, you can see she's staring straight ahead.
Mm-hmm. Does she have her mask still on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
No, she's not taking her mask off.
Yeah.
And when you try and get her attention, do you want to look where she's looking, or are you just gonna like try and shake her?
Yeah. Sure.
Just ahead, briefly, just seen poking out of the fog ever so slightly, is the jagged edge of an ornament that has fallen. You look around again, looking behind you. You don't see this shield-shaped thing moving at all. Gwen says, I think this is it. She takes another couple of steps forward. And then you hear her say very loudly, "This is it! There's a cave!
Summers,
Under this ball, there's a cave!"
Get
Summers,
careful.
quiet.
Yeah?
I'm trying to not let her run straight to it because there might be stuff happening.
That's
Okay,
good.
so you go
because
up
I
next
got
to her.
both hands on my keysket, so
Oh yeah, you're this is guy. Santiago is going up to her side and looking. You know, she's looking this way. He has his shoulder at her shoulder side and having a hand before her, saying, "We're not alone. You don't want to let the others know."
And just as you say that, Humphrey and Letha, looking behind you, notice
Scanning around.
these shapes, smaller size shapes, moving between branches. 2 of them. Now, 3 of them. A 4th one. And as you're, I imagine you got your keyskets trying to track them.
Panning, yeah.
They're getting closer. You don't see this bigger thing that you saw at all now. As suddenly from out of the mist, about a dozen clearly littlings with masks on step into the air, into this like, I'm gonna say there's like a bit of a clearing because it makes it a little bit more interesting here, where this ornament has fallen down. They kind of step into this clearing, the edge of the clearing, all of them armed with keyskets pointed at you, other than one. And this one, the one that doesn't have the keysket pointed at you, steps forward. And what you notice is that they have red and blue uniforms, it looks like, underneath these cloaks that are coated in, like, they're kind of all coated in these spores as well. So it's kind of camouflages everything. It just covers everything. But their cloaks, certainly, like, if they were to turn their backs and like crouch on the ground, you wouldn't even be able to notice them. It would be very hard to notice them. But certainly while they're standing there facing you, you can see that they have uniforms underneath. These are the same uniforms that you saw in the first session.
Oh, try that.
Very, well, let's say, last season's fairy realm uniforms.
Supremacists. Yeah.
The tri-starred, indeed.
The tri-starred.
But covered with cloaks. The one that kind of stepped forward gestures to you to put your keyskets down. Bearing in mind you have like 10 to 12 pointed directly at you. Gwen still has her back to them, hasn't noticed. They haven't said anything. They've not said anything. Santiago.
Has Santiago noticed?
Probably, because you're turned to the side. You would have seen some movement at some point, and then probably would have turned.
Yeah. He leans over and says, "Blushes. We have company."
What does Humphrey and Letha do?
I lower my keysket at first when I see we're outnumbered. Hesitant to lay it down. They are not talking to us right now, right?
Not yet. They're not close enough probably that they couldn't be heard without shouting, with the masks on.
Mm-hmm. And
after you lower it, but you don't put it down, the figure like makes it kind of even more urgent. Like, put it on the floor. And with his his or her other hand, lifts an arm up. And you can see the other soldiers kind of lean forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rasmus?
Santiago says, "Gwen, did you say a cave?"
She turns to you and then notices what's happening, and turns her back to the ornament.
Yeah.
And you could just hear her you can barely hear her answer in a small voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason you can hear it is because you're close to her and she's got this because of this mask. And she says, "Yes, a cave into the floor."
And I'll try to say it, loud enough that the other two can hear us, and but not the rest, and says, "So we could defend the cave."
If we don't get shot.
And he's smiling beneath his mask.
Okay, so let's go back to Letha and Humphrey. Do either of you put your keyskets on the ground?
Yeah, Humphrey sighs and very, very slowly goes into a crouch to very carefully lay his keyskate down, really taking some time. Taking his time.
Yeah, also very slowly, but I'm keeping an eye out for those other shapes. Were those spiders? Or is it just people around us? Like, are there?
You didn't get a good enough.
blooming?
You didn't get a good enough glimpse of it. Only Humphrey did.
Okay.
You saw something moving. Tapped him on because you got a critical. He got an extreme, and you could only see anything with the extreme.
Humphrey said probably the offspring of the spider.
Yeah.
Of the fog giant. But
then you're aware that the thing you saw was probably a spider. Yeah.
Where exactly? Now it's I don't know.
Yeah. But Humphrey would lay his keyskate down, getting into upright stance again, holding up his hands like, and being really loud.
Who are you? What do you want here?
Loud enough so probably they can hear us and.
Other things in the area too.
Yeah.
And what does Letha do? They're,
I would just,
they want you to put your
I will
weapon down
lower
too.
the key skit, but I will not really put it down as Humphrey starts being really loud. I'm just kind of being like, oh, that scared me, and I just crouch down a little.
As you crouch down and you don't put it down on the ground, and Humphrey stands up with his hands in the air, the person gestures, and 3 of them move very quickly towards you with their key skits like right in your face. And one of them reaches out to grab your key skit.
Yeah, Humphrey would shift.
Santiago moves his hand from the pistol to the
Okay, hold on.
sword
Okay.
and pulls Gwen closely.
So you put your hand on your sword and you pull Gwen close to you. What does Humphrey do?
Yeah, just between ourselves.
Humphrey shifts before Letha when they come towards her. Like
One of them
hands
sticks
still-
a
still in
some,
the
one of
air.
them sticks a musket like literally like right in your face.
Yeah.
And you hear, now that they're close enough, they say, "Out of the way, scum."
Takes one to know one.
And oh yeah, Humphrey would kick him in the balls.
Yes,
Oh shit!
kill the fascist.
Okay. I think we're gonna stop it
That's
there
gonna-
on this little
Yeah,
on this
okay.
little cliffhanger.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Oh,
Because I think there's a lot that could happen here, and
Oh,
I want to.
yeah.
I wasn't expecting you to attack them back, so it gives me time. It gives me 2 weeks to think about. Yeah.
Okay,
What this
sorry.
means exactly.
Sorry if I incited the total party
No,
kill.
no,
but...
no.
But
I mean,
you can dodge
I
bullets,
deliberately,
you know?
I deliberately
Santiago-
chose 12 was a number that I felt was big enough to make sure that you wouldn't try anything.
Yep.
Yeah, we could take hostages now. Probably, maybe.
Santi-
Humphrey is weirdly
Santiago
optimistic
can-
right now.
Yeah, Santiago can dodge bullet. He just thinks everybody else can. So
Yeah. Maybe the spirit of Santiago possessed Humphrey.
no, it's a fascist. You need to kick fascists in the balls. That's a...
Yeah.
I
Sure.
know. I was just hoping for an opportunity to set off that spider, to let that big spider loose
Oh, there's
on
still
them.
time.
That
There's
was-
still time.
That is
Yeah, yeah.
the thing I'm actually looking
Yeah.
for.
All right.
Sweet.
really
So-
fun.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah. Again, this is still technically the same session as the previous 2, and our next session in 2 weeks' time is still also continuing the same scenario from the book. So again, we're going to be getting at least 4 sessions out of like a half a page of text, and a D6 table. So, and we haven't even touched the D6 table yet. So there's a
Okay.
Yep.
But
it's
honestly, I
great.
really enjoy the pace
Yeah.
we've got right now.
Okay.
Yes.
A lot more character interaction, a lot more world building, exploring, or at least getting the world to know the world.
Yeah.
Getting to know your characters.
It feels
I'm
nice
very
not
happy
having a set number of scenes that you're having to hit to make sure
Yes.
you're getting to the climax of the adventure in one sitting. Yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
feels
So
more
well GM'd Matt. Remember
Oh, thank
Yes,
Really,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I also hope the audience enjoys the slower pace as well.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Write it in the chat if you liked it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're gonna stop here. I mean, those of you who are watching this far obviously are invested in this campaign now, so I don't need to do the whole usual like and subscribe blurb. But what really helps is the comments. If you liked it, then let us know in the comments. Let us know specifics about what you like about it too, because that lets me know what I should be focusing on more of. Also, if there's something you didn't like or you felt the pace was wrong in a certain place, let me know that too. It's all good feedback. Which, when you're GMing, you don't usually get this kind of feedback from more than just the players. And I think the anonymity of YouTube is also helpful, because it means you can be a bit more brutally honest without worrying about, looking bad. You wouldn't necessarily say that to somebody's face, but on on YouTube, the comments are often very terrible. So I come to expect it. But yeah, I haven't really said this in previous videos, but I would really like to get some feedback. And people have given me feedback in Discord, which is where we're very active. But it's also nice to get that on the YouTube videos, because it actually helps with the algorithm for people to find this. they're more likely to be recommended if there are comments as well as the likes on the videos. So it does help. But yeah, looking forward to resolving this cliffhanger in our next session.
Yes.
As I said, it's going to be in 2 weeks' time, assuming nobody's sick, and we'll catch you then. So
Alright.
thanks, everyone. Thanks for everyone who was in the chat as well.
Yes.
And
Thanks,
catch you
Mr.
next time.
McDarting. Thanks, Maria. Bye. Till next time.
Bye.
bye-bye. All right, click the end